Welcome back, gang, to the second part of this series of videos we're calling How to Grow Your Very Own Moth Orchids or Phalaenopsis. Of course, they are super and simple and easy to grow, but in this video, I do want to show you how we pot these plants up into a nicer container. Of course, I bought these really at a grocery store. They were a Valentine's Day special, got them for the wife, and they're just beautiful. But of course, they come in these little tiny pots, and then inside you'll see this clear plastic pot which exposes the roots. You can actually see all of the fleshy roots that they have. Now, when we consider potting these up, there are a few factors at play. First of all, we want to think about the kind of pot that we're going to put them in. Because these babies love good air circulation, it's good to have a pot that's quite open, maybe even has slits in them. You can find specialty orchid pots that actually have holes right on the sides. Now, these don't have holes on the sides, but they do have holes in the bottom. And with that in mind, when the wife tells you she wants a certain kind of pot, that's what you work with. So this is what we'll be working with today. Now, when we expose the roots here, when we pull the roots out of the old container, you will see that some of them have kind of decayed back. And it's a good time to remove some of these roots to make sure that we don't have any dead material. That's the very first step. But then the next thing you'll need, other than your orchid and pot, is a potting mix for orchids. Now, this material here is just lovely. This is Molly's orchid mix, and you will notice that it has a lot of pine bark, some aggregate stone, and shavings of certain kinds. There are some fine particles, but unlike traditional potting mix, all of this stuff is chunky, and that's actually what these orchids are going to grow in. Something that's big, loose, well draining, and is not going to hold a lot of moisture. So it's quite simple. Once we have all of these ingredients, we'll pull up some of this potting mix here. We want to start by getting sort of the level on the pot to make sure that it is no deeper than the root ball here, you see. The idea is not trying to surround the root system with fine textures, but really just have these large aggregates to help hold them in place. So of course, just like with any other pot, we do want to make sure, or rather just like any other plant, we do want to make sure that we have mixture around the bottom and around the top. Now, if some roots are wanting to grow out of the pot, that's completely normal and natural. And some of your plants that you are bringing in may very well have some roots that are protruding from the pot themselves. So we'll just gently and loosely add this around that small root ball. And again, this potting mix being so lightweight, being so loose, is actually just securing that root system into the pot. And then, of course, as those roots grow and develop, they will begin to grow. So that looks nice. It looks different than most other houseplants we might grow, but that's basically how you would pot them up. It comes down to two main factors. The kind of pot you use needs to be as free draining as possible. If it has slits and holes right along the side, that's wonderful. And then, of course, the kind of media you use, you'll find media with lots of pine bark and stone and whatnot. We do like to go ahead and maybe buy an orchid mix that's already made, but you could surely mix it yourself from individual materials that you find inside of the box store, the growing centers, garden centers, things like that. So we will get to watering this plant in the next video. We'll show you how to water it, and then we'll go on to fertilizer, and then how you can place it in your house. What is the best place to put an orchid like this inside your home? Be sure to check out the next video when we get to how to water your orchids, and I hope you stay well and grow well. Until then.